Hey guys, how's it going? I've got a few updates to share with you, and I thought I'd do it in a video so you guys could absorb this information at your leisure, since nothing is like super pressing, but it is timely to just kind of keep tracking. Yeah, last week we did some good work that resulted in a few changes and options. And so I'm going to pick up where we left off. And that was, you guys should have this document. Everybody now is working off of the perspectives with the construction notes. And that's really what spurred on the ask from Colin, which was he'd like to get all of this very updated and precise information into a floor plan view because he was working from, the last permitted redlined set had, a lot of changes in them. And then we had some electrical, but it was over outdated floor plan. And then we have like DIN revised plans, but there wasn't electrical really there. And he just kept feeling like there was nowhere he could just view and do just do that confident count where you can see everything on one page. And I always feel like my job is to try and reduce error and support our builder and the crew. And so here's what we got, guys. We developed a one sheet where the whole complete floor is there and the upstairs primary is there. And I finished that for him last week on the 7th. And we made one more adjustment to it today based on what I'm about to show you from the cabinets and countertop floor plan because, Colin went over to visit these guys with his jazzy new one sheet and was talking to the countertop guys, and they were looking at, these revised plans along with my perspectives. But again, it was like, oh man, I want one of those. And so Doug called me and told him I'd get him a plan. So this is what we got for Doug over there at Precision. This is where I've removed all the electrical, and it just has everything that pertains to, layout, cabinets, countertops, more linear lengths pronounced. So for easy estimation, precise estimation, right? And, this now will be accompanying his perspectives. And so Doug and I went through all these things, like all your really custom backsplash moments like this, so that he can get the right kind of, understanding of what we're doing. I think there are some other fun places where we do some unique things, like right here in the guest, where we've got that high backsplash and going through what's wall mounted versus what's deck mounted, on the countertop, and making sure that he was straight. And that's when we came across with more clarity. He said, okay, the particular slab that y'all picked out, they all vary just a little bit in size, and those slabs come at just a little more than 10.8. Your island was previously at 11.2. So Doug and I kind of worked on this together to reduce it by 5 inches, and I was able to do it. All of this was really fixed, right? But over here we had an 18-inch wide trash can pull out, which is equipped to large enough to equip 2 trashes, and a 15-inch can do a single. And so we could reduce it to a single there. And then this was a 15-inch wide 3-drawer stack, and I could make it 12. And in doing so, that allowed us to avoid seaming together 2 slabs and having a big seam when we were just a few inches off. So for pricing, that's what he's going to go for, is a big single slab instead. And then the next thing, and I'm going to switch to this view, is the edge profile, right? And so we were looking at doing a mitered edge and a chiseled face on it. And he said, Abby, you got to pick one or the other. I haven't honestly done a lot of chiseled faces, and I'd forgotten that. They like quartz mitered to get a thick edge doesn't chisel very well. And so, since we had reduced the thickness to a less dramatic 2-inch, which is literally only a 1/2 inch thicker than a standard, I said, I think we'll opt for the chiseled face on a standard single slab. Okay, let me know if you guys disagree with that. Otherwise, I think that's how they're going to be looking at that. And yeah, just having all the labels on here, having one sheet for just room dimensions and labels, and knowing where, those appliances, the center hit, so we know things in the back for cabinet plumbing and stuff. Got that kitchenette filled out a little bit better, right? And yeah, this felt good to the crew, and I wanted to share with you guys, and I'll share this document with you too, so you'll have an overall, layout, the electric, and you should already have your perspectives right here. Now, let's see. One other thing that kind of came up. Let me see. It's going to be there on the electric, that I realized we have not selected. Okay, let's go into through the den, into that guest hall. We're coming down. These 2 sconces, I've got us down for 2. I'm not sure. It will depend on the sconce. So I'd like to have bold enough sconces, simple enough sconces, that we just need 2, but depending on what we select here, we might decide we want 3. So that's not a big deal where it's located, not a big deal. But I do have us down for 2 and dimensioned those in. Having all these lights dimensioned helps. They don't always take it to gospel, the electrician, but it lets him confirm his count and get his spacing all started. But here we go. We've got those. And then the other thing are these. We need to select these exterior lights. I've looked at some, but we haven't looked at anything together. Let me share those with you. We need to do that soon. But anyhow, that's just some things that I realized last week is, whoops, we need to pick those and pick the sconces. So we've got 3 exterior wall mounted, 1, 2, and 3 of those. Oh, and just, I took the liberty, a little electrical creative liberty, a couple of times where I just realized this was a 25-foot eave in front of the garage. Instead of 2, I made that 3 recessed soffit lights. Everything else is same. Just really glad to have a place to land. A lot of the special notes, like backlit mirror, touch operated. So those are hardwired, and they see exactly how dimensioned in the sconces are. When we get to wall mounting everything like we are and illuminating everything, it's good to have all that dimensioned. And in creating the pathways, just doing the due diligence, a real electrical plan, you show all those connections. I became aware of a switch that I had overlooked in here. And so, yeah, it was good to get this guy created. And so anyhow, that's the updates for this week. I hope y'all are doing well. I want to make one more video to simplify the tile discussion, but we'll do that separately. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.